Today, we bring you the story of Grace Millane, a vibrant young woman who was out exploring the world after completing college. She met Jesse Kempson through a dating app during her travels in New Zealand. It's heartbreaking to say that her journey took a devastating turn when Jesse tragically ended her life by strangling her in his hotel room. It's unfortunate to think about Grace Millane's final moments. She was strangled, with bruises indicating she had been restrained. The injuries suggested she was held down with significant force. Grace's tragic passing reminds us to show empathy, compassion, and respect for each other's well-being. Grace Emma Rose Millane was born on December 2, 1996 in Brentwood, Essex, a town in the east of England. She was the cherished daughter of Gillian and David Millane, who already had two sons, Michael and Declan, from David's previous marriage. Grace was their first child, and she quickly became the apple of her brother's eyes, their beloved baby sister. Growing up, Grace was a spirited and determined young girl. Despite being the only girl in her family, she fearlessly pursued her passion for hockey. She became a mentor to young players as she got older, always eager to share her knowledge and make everyone feel included. As she entered her teenage years, Grace carried a sense of boundless optimism and a belief that no dream was too big to achieve. This mindset stayed with her through her university years, where she graduated from the University of Lincoln in 2018 with a degree in advertising and marketing. After graduation, Grace took a gap year to explore the world and chase her dreams. Before setting off on her adventure, she selflessly donated her long brown hair to the Little Princess Trust, showing her compassionate nature and desire to impact others positively. In October 2018, Grace began her journey with a group tour in Peru, before venturing out on her own to explore the stunning landscapes of Patagonia and the beauty of New Zealand's North Island. After 2 months of exhilarating travel, she arrived in Auckland on December 1, 2018, marking the end of an unforgettable and fulfilling chapter in her life. On December 2, 2018, Grace's birthday, her friends and family flooded her phone with well wishes. However, as the day progressed without any response from Grace, her parents grew concerned. Despite her usual communication during her travels, Grace remained unresponsive. Given Grace's regular updates throughout her trip, her father found this sudden silence perplexing. Yet, considering Grace's independence and previous experiences traveling alone, her parents tried not to panic. 3 days later, with no signs of Grace and her phone still unreachable, her parents contacted the New Zealand police to report her disappearance. The police initiated an investigation into the matter, despite the complexities of dealing with a case of missing persons involving someone from another country. On December 6th, less than a day after Grace's parents reported her disappearance, the police brought in a 26-year-old man for questioning regarding Grace Millane's case, although they didn't disclose his identity. This swift action surprised many, fueling speculation in the local media about the involvement of a British traveler in Grace's disappearance. 2 days later, on December 8th, the Auckland police upgraded the investigation from a missing person case to a murder investigation without revealing any specifics. They also announced that the man they had questioned was now facing charges related to Grace's murder. The rapid progression of events left the public bewildered. The following day, December 9th, Grace's body was discovered in Bushland, approximately 12 miles west of central Auckland, about 50 minutes away from her last known location at the City Life Hotel. The availability of extensive CCTV footage from the hotel and the city played a crucial role in the investigation. The police swiftly began combing through the footage, akin to steering through a maze of cameras akin to those found in densely surveilled areas like the Las Vegas Strip. With meticulous tracking, the police were able to piece together Grace's journey, resulting in a 35-minute compilation of footage depicting her movements. Despite the urge to intervene, viewers were helpless as they watched the events. This comprehensive CCTV footage became instrumental in understanding the events leading to Grace's disappearance. The police locate CCTV footage of Grace leaving the hotel on December 1st around 5:37 p.m. She can be seen wearing a black t-shirt dress, white flat lace-up shoes, and carrying a purse, with the additional detail of a white watch visible in the footage. The footage, mostly in color with one portion in black and white, provides explicit imagery, capturing even facial expressions. Grace heads on foot to Sky City, Auckland, an entertainment complex and casino in the central business district, approximately 0.2 miles from the City Life Hotel where she stays. The complex, resembling the Las Vegas Strip, houses various attractions, including the Sky Tower, Sky City Theater, multiple bars and restaurants, and 3 hotels. Grace is tracked on camera as she enters an open area around the dining section of Sky City. At 5:54 p.m., a man in sneakers, jeans, and a light blue unbuttoned shirt approaches Grace in the Sky City complex. They share a quick, awkward hug before walking together through various areas, captured by straightforward security cameras. Their interaction seems casual, with no hand-holding but occasional smiles and conversation. They enter a bar called Andy's, where they peruse the menu and engage with the bartender. After drinks at the Andy's, they move to the Mexican cafe around 7:16 p.m., continuing their bar-hopping spree. Over the next hour, they appear more comfortable, displaying signs of intimacy such as standing closer and touching. At 8:30 p.m., they dine at the Bluestone Room, with footage showing them sitting together at a high-top table, sharing kisses and enjoying each other's company. When the man briefly leaves for the restroom at 8:56 p.m., he kisses Grace goodbye, indicating a positive interaction. While Grace waits for him, she takes out her phone for the first time. As she goes to the bathroom, she leaves her purse on the table, which the man briefly rifles through before returning it to its place. As Grace and the man leave Sky City, their behavior seems normal until the man takes Grace's purse while she's in the bathroom. This unusual action intrigues the police. Upon leaving, they walk back to Grace's hotel, City Life, arm in arm, holding hands. They proceed through the lobby, into the elevator, and up to the 3rd floor, where Grace's room is. This part of the footage becomes particularly eerie, as Grace is never seen on camera again after entering the elevator. She can't be found despite extensive searches of the hotel and Grace's room. The police are puzzled by how Grace seemingly vanishes without being captured on camera. They begin looking for the unknown man, suspecting he might have information about Grace's disappearance. Their suspicions heighten when they spot him in the elevator at 8 a.m. the following morning, wearing a different shirt than he had worn the previous night. The man's actions, as captured by the security footage, baffle. Despite being in an area heavily surveilled with cameras, he seemed unaware or unconcerned about being caught on camera. His behavior, such as making brief eye contact with the elevator camera before turning away and using Grace's key to access her floor, suggested a calculated attempt to evade detection. His purchase of a large suitcase, followed by cleaning supplies, and subsequent return to the hotel raised alarming suspicions about his intentions. The cameras watched the man closely. They saw him in an elevator with others and later renting a red car, but even then, they couldn't figure out what he was up to. Meeting another woman at a bar shortly after Grace's disappearance further intrigues the police's attention. The man's frequent trips on the elevator to gather things make the staff question what he is up to, and Jesse confronts a story that he needs to clean some red wine stains from the floor. As the police watch the footage, they try to figure out how Grace might have left the hotel without anyone noticing. The man unloads the bag into his parked rental car and then returns to the room to sleep. The following day, December 3rd, he leaves the hotel around 6:14 a.m. and drives to a hardware store where he purchases a red shovel. Roughly 2.5 hours later, he returns to the hotel barefoot. Later, he retrieves 2 more bags from the hotel, drops them off at the dry cleaners, buys another suitcase, washes the car and the shoes inside it, and washes the shovel, leaving it at a car wash. 2 days later, he dumps items from a bag into trash bins. Throughout, he stays at the City Life Hotel on Grace's card. Auckland police identified him on December 6th and brought him in for questioning. After the due investigations, they charged him with murder 2 days later, on the 8th. During questioning on the 6th, he alleges that the last time he saw Grace was at 8 p.m. on December 1st, after their date. However, CCTV footage contradicts his claim, showing he spent the night. Police catch him in lies and confront him with the evidence. On December 8th, he's charged with Grace's murder. Searches on his phone led police to her body. He had searched the exact place where he dumped her body on his GPS. After finding Grace's body, her funeral services were held at Brentwood Cathedral in Essex, where hundreds of mourners gathered to celebrate her life, and many of her paintings were used to decorate the service. Her remains were buried in the village of Ramadan Bell House, and Grace's family was devastated, angry, and confused. The public was outraged at the murder of a British traveler and demanded answers. However, there was a suppression order in place during the trial to keep the killer's name out of the media. This order lasted until about a year later, when the trial began. The suppression aimed to preserve fairness by preventing the jury from being influenced by media coverage or incorrect information. Despite the suppression, some sources still kept the killer unnamed and blurred his face in the footage. He pleaded not guilty, leading to the trial. Individuals in New Zealand faced penalties for revealing the killer's name due to the suppression order. This restriction did not bind overseas media and eventually showed his name after the trial. Despite efforts to suppress his identity, the killer's name became public knowledge via international media outlets. This contrast in legal constraints between New Zealand and other countries led to discrepancies in reporting. Jesse Kempson matched with Grace Millane on Tinder in December 2018. After their date, he murdered her in her hotel room and spent the next 5 days trying to cover it up, with most events captured on camera. According to 9 News Australia and the Daily Mail, Kempson was born on December 28, 1991. His parents separated when he was young and his grandparents raised him. During high school, he claimed to play professional softball in New Zealand, but this was later revealed as a lie. His stepbrother described him as a pathological liar who fabricated stories about his partners having cancer or his parents being dead to elicit. He had a son from a previous relationship but maintained no contact with him, nor did he have contact with his father. Kempson claimed to own a restaurant franchise and lied about purchasing bars and top restaurants in Auckland's Viaduct Harbor area. He also falsely boasted about having a bachelor's degree in international law and coming from a wealthy family. These grandiose lies suggest narcissistic tendencies, where Kempson sought to manipulate others' perception of him to boost his ego. At trial, it was revealed that Grace was murdered via manual strangulation. The defense argued that it was accidental, claiming it resulted from rough play gone wrong. The evidence strongly suggests that Grace's murder was not accidental, given the extensive efforts Kempson made to cover it up. Tinder messages reveal Kempson's persistent and aggressive attempts to persuade Grace to date him despite her reluctance. During the trial, Grace's sexual history and behavior were unfairly scrutinized, adding further distress to her family. However, the jury returned a guilty verdict after 5 hours of deliberation. The Prime Minister apologized to Grace's parents, acknowledging the failure to keep her safe. After the trial, it was revealed that Kempson had sexually assaulted another British tourist he met on Tinder months earlier, and he faced multiple charges of sexual and other violence against his girlfriend at the time. Despite several attempts to appeal his verdict, all have been denied. These events underscore broader issues of violence against women, with statistics showing a concerning prevalence of assault and unwanted violence during consensual sex, both in the UK and the US. Grace's murder tragically adds to the long history of cases where the defense attempts to justify violence against women by blaming the victim or invoking rough sex as a defense. This pattern of victim blaming has deep roots, dating back to infamous cases like the Jack the Ripper murders. It's a toxic portrayal of victims that shifts blame away from the perpetrator and onto the women themselves. Organizations like Love Grace UK, founded in Grace Millane's honor, work tirelessly to raise awareness of male violence against women and support survivors. Their efforts and the messages of support from Grace's family and friends highlight their resilience and determination to create positive change in the face of tragedy. Could have happened to anyone, underscoring the importance of collective action to create a safer world for all.